There's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, 2-run shot to right.
It's a beautiful day down here at the tip of Salem County for some Tri-County Diamond Division baseball. It's the Woodstown Wolverines and the Schalick Cougars here in the 13th annual Elmer Classic. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Jake Clark to my left, Ben Nicholas behind the camera this evening as the lights are on and we're ready to go with Mark DeCastro and Sean O'Brien talking behind home plate here right in front of our very eyes here in Elmer. This field has an interesting distinction of being in two different towns. This was installed last year. There's a sign down the left field line. There's a sign out in right center that shows Elmer and Upper Pittsgrove. Elmer kids go to Woodstown. Upper Pittsgrove kids go to Schalick. And if you hit a ball out to left center field today, there's a good chance you are literally going to be hitting a ball to the next town over. And with the field like this, 300 down the lines and less than 340 to center, this should be an offense-heavy game. However, countering that is the two starting pitchers today. You've got Luke Pokrovsky, the starter that's headed to Penn for Schalick, along with his brother Jarrett Pokrovsky, who's got a 1.33 ERA. Meanwhile, you've got Jack Holliday for Woodstown coming in with a sub-2 ERA as well. Which do you think is going to prevail, the smaller fences or the dominant pitching here in Elmer?
Well, the pitchers are fantastic out on the mound, but I think with the wind blowing out, we could see a couple balls head deep out in the outfield, and the short fence means we could see a ball literally get hit into the next town over, but definitely going to be difficult to do with the two guys on the bump today.
Well, not only that, but these two teams are very good. I mean, Schalick 11-1. Their one loss was in the first round in an upset in the Diamond Classic to Haddonfield. Meanwhile, Woodstown's been a little bit a little bit worse off record-wise, but they're still 14-4. That's still very good. So I'm going to be excited to see how this works out. This could be a very offense-heavy game. Like we said, we didn't mention it explicitly in the open, but Woodstown leads this all-time series 7-5. However, Schalick has won the last two that these two have played. It's Schalick's senior night. It's going to be a great night for Jack Holliday and Luke Pokrovsky. Again, the left-hander committed to Penn. We saw him pitch in relief versus Rancocas Valley last week. We're going to take a quick break real quick as Woodstown has taken the field right in front of us. Again, I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Jake Clark on the headsets, and then Ben Nicholas right next to me as the camera operator. We'll be right back as Woodstown and Schalick face off in the 13th annual Elmer Classic. We'll be right back. Jack Holliday is the pitcher here in the Elmer Classic for Woodstown. Let's take a look at his stats today. As for the right-hander, again this season, he's been very good. 1.31 ERA and 10 2/3, 15 Ks, and just 2 earned runs allowed, as both of these pitchers coming in with very low ERAs. For the Schalick Cougars this evening, let's take a look at their starting lineup, brought to you by Harper Driving School. Luke Pokrovsky, the pitcher, headed to Penn. Bats leadoff, Ricky Watt in second. Then you've got Evan Seepers, Lucas D'Agostino, Jamari Whitley, Enrico Hatz, Evan Glaspie, Matt Lamazza, and Elijah Cummings. First pitch of the ball game is a strike. 0-1, and we're underway here from Elmer. Elmer/Upper Pittsgrove. We even put it in the open panel in the bottom of your screen. We put Elmer/Upper Pittsgrove. That one's high. 1-1. Pokrovsky homered versus Rancocas Valley when we saw them versus the Red Devils on Thursday, April 18th in a 10-4 win. As Pokrovsky pops this one up, it's going to be, well, it's a pop-up, but it's headed out to center field. It looked like he got under it, but he actually got some really good distance on it, and it's the first out of the ball game.
And as we talked about, a very hitter-friendly park here, about 300 down the lines, 320, 330, give or take, to straightaway center field. And the wind was blowing pretty well out towards center, left center field during the JV game. It's died down a little bit here as of late, but still, if the wind picks up, we could see a lot of balls go far here in this one.
Well, you also have to consider, as there's a strike called there to Ricky Watt, the catcher, what you also have to consider is Woodstown and the entire Tri-County Diamond Division is no stranger to hitter-friendly ballparks. Woodstown's home field, Lee Ware Field, as that's going to be a base hit in the left field off the bat of Watt. Trickles in there out towards left. It's picked up in left by Caden Spinelli. And a runner is on in Watt to start off Schalick's offensive front. This will bring up the third hitter, number 9, Seepers.
Yeah, Seepers having a good year, hitting north of 400 with a 429 batting average, slugging .643 on the year. Has a career .373 batting average as a junior.
But as we were saying, he's been very good this year as well, but one of the things that I think you should consider, as there's a slider that misses outside 1-0, Woodstown's home field, Lee Ware, is 327 to center. That's one of the most hitter-friendly ballparks in Jersey outside of PVI and Haddonfield. I think the big difference maker, though, is that Woodstown is in a very flat field. There's no trees in the outfield like there are here, so it creates a wind tunnel. When we were at Woodstown in 2023 for our one game there, it was blowing straight in, and nobody hit a home run. I think Brent Williams got close, but that was about it. And here, not only do you have trees, the wind is blowing out, it's going to be a win-win situation for hitters. As the count is quickly 2-0 to the number 3 hitter, as you mentioned, Evan Seepers. Manning left field today for the Cougars, as that one's outside, 3-0. Schalick 11-1 on the young campaign, and undefeated 6-0 in the Tri-County Diamond. Lost in the first round of the 51st Annual Diamond Classic to Haddonfield 10-4. They swept the William G. Rohrer tournament. Was mentioned in the senior introductions. That was one of the Schalick players' favorite moments, which was just 3 weeks ago, beating Cherry Hill West and Haddon Township. 3-1. Started off the season scoring a combined grand total of 37 runs in their first 3 games, beating Glassboro, Woodstown 11-0, and Clayton.
And I think the big thing here is these teams have played each other before, with Woodstown being on the losing end and Schalick winning by over 10 runs all the way back.
They scored 10 runs in the first inning in that last matchup.
These teams, it's a friendly rivalry here, but this game means a little bit more when you're playing for the Cup. And so this game with a little extra marbles involved in this one.
Like we said, when the town border quite literally runs through the outfield, it's such an interesting spectacle here. We have not been here before. This is about a 35, 40-minute drive from home, and it's a nice place to be, though. Especially when Salem County and Cumberland County get that kind of reputation as like farm country here in South Jersey. It's nice to see this community coming together. As there's a foul ball, makes the count quickly 0-2 to the left-hander D'Agostino, who got the start the last time DWB covered the Cougars versus Rancocas Valley. D'Agostino, the senior, batting .214 in his career, up to .242 this year, 8 for 33, 8 RBIs, and a .364 slugging. He's got 2 runners on thanks to a single and a free pass to Seepers. However, Holiday settling in on the dirt mound, and the 0-2 is upstairs. He did check, appeal to second, says no, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes to the senior D'Agostino.
It's a good job there by Holiday, trying to go upstairs, getting the hitter to chase outside the zone and a 2-strike count, but the hitter holds up, and we'll do it again.
Outside there, 2-2. I think with the older infield, we see that at a couple of fields. We saw that at Pennsville, Haddon Heights being another. it's one of those situations where it definitely makes the infielders think a little bit differently because the ball is just going to roll right to them, could set up some good double plays. That one is up and away at the height of the letters, but on the left chalk line of the right-handed batter's box, and we've got a full count. Very good hitting here from D'Agostino, and sometimes the best hitting is no hitting at all. He got an 0-2 count, fouled a couple of ones away, and now he's taken 3 straight to make the count full. Here's the 3-2. Never mind. Holiday steps off. Next up for Schalick will be their number 5 hitter, Jamari Whitley, the third baseman, to be followed by the first baseman, Enrico Hatz, who's had playing time behind the plate and at first base in prior seasons. That's a base hit laced in right center field. This one's going to score a run. Coming in is Watt. He scores, stumbling at third as there was some trouble. The relay to the plate is in time. He got him. It's an RBI double for D'Agostino, who waits until the perfect time to pounce as he picks up the RBI, but Seepers ended up getting a little bit too greedy. Schalick does lead now 1-0.
Well, an excellent swing of the bat there in a 3-2 count. Got down in the count 0-2, and then D'Agostino with some plate discipline, and then sends one into the right center gap. An excellent piece of hitting. And then, as you mentioned, Seepers just a little too aggressive and is thrown out at the plate. So a big momentum-boosting play there for Woodstown, but they give up the first run of the ball game as Schalick gets on the board first, 1-0.
I can't blame Schalick, though, for sending Seepers home because I think that you can honestly attribute that more to a good relay than a bad send. I think it was a 50-50 call, and honestly, as a third base coach, when you're in the heat of the moment, sometimes just things don't go your way. So I think that it wasn't really a bad send, but Woodstown had a really good relay there, 8-4-2 behind the dish for Koblenz. 1-1 is the count. 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Woodstown has a run home. Schalick has a run home on an RBI double by D'Agostino, and now we've got Jamari Whitley manning the hot corner this evening for Schalick. 1-1. That's in the dirt. 2 balls, 1 strike. This field, we're at William Higgins Field, built in 1952 and dedicated to longtime Elmer Little League president William Higgins. One of several fields over here at the complex. It was softball being played out in beyond the left center field fence. Oh, how about this? It's an unintentional swing that's put in fair play, and he's got a base hit. Jamari Whitley probably didn't even mean to hit that ball, but he did, and he got himself a single. So that will be a base hit for Whitley, as even though it was only a half swing, the infield dirt keeps it rolling. And Enrico Hatz will be the batter.
Yeah, how about Whitley right there? A defensive swing on a pitch that ran inside. He just gets his bat on it, and it doesn't roll out of play. It stays fair, and he uses that speed to get over to first. And now runners on the corners with 2 away. Didn't mean for a base hit there, but that'll help the average for sure.
Absolutely. That ball's hit foul down the right field line. Going over, and it's out of play. Got a tight complex here. I mean, I had to park on the grass a little bit further away from the field, and I got here 90 minutes before first pitch. I mean, that's how much these communities care about this ball game. Again, there's food trucks here. There's a whole bunch of different things going on around here in the community right off of Lake Garrison, as there's a ground ball over the middle. That will be taken in at short to retire the side. So Tommy Tucci gets the final out on a 6 unassisted fielder's choice, and Schalick leaves 2 on. They do get 3 hits on the board, including an RBI double by Lucas D'Agostino. 1-0 Cougars after a half frame. We'll be right back. Luke Pokrovsky, the starter for Schalick this afternoon. The Penn commit, who will be joining his brother Jarrett Pokrovsky with the Quakers next year. 1.33 ERA for the two-way, 44 strikeouts. The only number that could be a bit of an exclamation point is the 29 walks across 21 innings, but he'll look to shut that down versus the Wolverines this evening. Spinelli, the left fielder, will bat as we'll get a strike called there. Schalick got 3 hits on the board in the top of the first, scored 1. Southpaw delivers, breaking ball inside. As we said, I mean, this game, despite the fact that both pitchers come into this contest with a 1.33 and a 1.31 ERA respectively, this still feels like it could very well become a hitter's, oh, hold on here. Now, that's not what Pokrovsky should have done there. I don't know if you heard what the umpire said, but he said exactly what I was going to say. In that situation, when the batter calls time late, you can and honestly should throw the ball down, lollipop it, because what he told Pokrovsky there is he said, don't get hurt. You can throw it down to the plate. And I've seen that before. That was the first time I actually seen a pitcher not do that and actually hang on to the ball, because hanging on to the ball and going through with your motion can get you really hurt. Spinelli goes down looking on strikes, and we've got our first down of the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at the Woodstown starting lineup, brought to you by Harper Driving School. Rocco String, the 6'6" first baseman, bats second after Spinelli. The junior catcher, Ty Koblenz, hits third. Dante Holmes at third. Blake Bilecki in center field. Walker Batavio, the freshman, in right. Chase Harding, the DH. Lucas Fulmer at second. And Tommy Tucci is the shortstop. Strike is called. 0-1.
Yeah, and back to the point of Pokrovsky just stopping his motion there, that's definitely something that you can get seriously hurt with all your momentum coming forward, just totally trying to stop right then and there. Luckily, he seems okay, though, and he's right in a groove here early in this one.
Yeah, you'll see it before. Hold on here. That's a beautiful pitch. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. String goes down on strikes, and there's 2 up and 2 down for the Wolverines in the first. But just putting a cap on that point, you see it sometimes with a lot of pitchers in the major leagues. They'll either just lollipop a throw to the plate, or they'll just throw it at full speed like it's a normal pitch, because it's better for you to finish through with your motion as if you were throwing a normal pitch than it is to stop abruptly. It's like kind of putting a pen in the middle of a bunch of spinning metal gears. It's going to disrupt the system. It's 1-0 to the number 3 hitter, Ty Koblenz. Koblenz is one of those players that I've been excited to watch ever since I started out doing this in 2022. Very excited to see him as a prospect when he was a freshman, and now he's developed all the way up into his junior year as he's got a 1-1 count here. But, I mean, he's one of those players that, even though he's 5'8", 150, he's a catcher, but he's stolen 37 bases in his career. He's a .317 career hitter, has 11 swiped bags this year, as that'll be a bunt swing and a miss, 1 and 2. This season, though, he has gone way off the rails in a good way. .429 average, 11 walks, 11 stolen bases, and he's 15 for 35 with 9 RBIs. And as we mentioned, as a catcher, to have that kind of agility at 5'8", 150, really good stuff. Fouled straight back, and it's 1 and 2. Pokrovsky really taking advantage of that mound. Seems a little bit higher up, but it's definitely helping his velocity, as it'll be 7, 8, 9 for Schalick in the top of the second. Glaspie, Lamazza, and Elijah Cummings. Koblenz makes some good wood in the left field. Calling for it and making the catch to retire the side is Seepers. Schalick sets down Woodstown in order. And after 1 inning here in Elmer, it's 1-0 Cougars.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Top of the second here at Elmer. It's 1-0 Schalick, as it'll be 7-8-9. Starting off with Evan Glaspie, the second baseman for Schalick, as they batted 6 in the first, scored 1, and had 3 hits. A base hit by Watt, an RBI double by DiAgostino, and then Jamari Whitley also contributed a base hit on a little bit of an accidental swing. As it'll be Glaspie, Lamazza, and Cummings in the top of the second. First pitch from Holiday. Up and in, 1-0. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you could book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road. Holiday, 1-0. Hit out towards left field, over towards the upper Pittsgrove barrier, and right under a car tire. It's 1-1. Well, I think the last game that we did, there was some issues with a car. I can't remember the last game that you did. It might have been Joe Lang Classic. We had somebody that car got pummeled with it was a like $90,000 pickup truck. They gave it all the big wheels and all the good stuff. That one's hit out towards right field. It's going back, and it's going to be off the wall. And in fact, it will go over the wall. It'll be a ground rule double for Glaspie, as it one-hopped the right field side, and he's going to have a ground rule double to lead off the second.
Talking about Harper Driving School, Glaspie took that one for a drive the other way.
There you go.
An excellent job of staying back on that pitch, taking it the other way, and putting some power along with it, and a leadoff double there for Schalick as they try and extend their lead here in the top of the second inning.
I like how you're learning to be more corporate here with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Holiday dealing with a runner on second. And the first pitch, no, he steps off there. If you're a small business owner interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, send us an email with an advertising inquiry at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That one is laced foul down the left field line. We have over 100,000 annual viewers on YouTube every year, covering all 5 South Jersey counties, along with, well, first of all, we've covered over 110 high schools in New Jersey and South Jersey, all over the place. We do this a lot, and a lot of expenses have come up recently, so we'd love to have your commercial and your brand on the air. You can send us an email with an inquiry, again, thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. And we'll meet your advertising needs. We'll film you a commercial that has your creative control and gets streamed at every game over a 6-month period. That one is dribbled out towards short. This is rather out towards second base. Not sure what the call was down there. They do say that he's safe. Couldn't tell down the right field line, but it's going to be an infield single for Lamazza. And now Elijah Cummings will bat with runners on the corners. And actually, no, excuse me, they called him out. Yeah, my view was a little bit obstructed there. I apologize. But instead, that will be a 4-1 ground out for the first out, moving Glaspie to third. And now it'll be Elijah Cummings batting with 1 on.
Oh, and that was a bang-bang play, but at the least move the runner over to third base, and now a lot of ways to score here from third with just 1 out in the inning.
An infield moving in for the Wolverines as they trail by 1 here in the top of the second.
Yeah, after losing to Schalick by 11 last time, trying to keep them off the scoreboard here in the bottom of the second, bringing that infield in.
Inside, 1-1. Yeah, Woodstown's a very good team. I mean, they've beaten some very good competition this year, and I think the Tri-County Diamond Division is just going to get more and more competitive throughout the years. Glassboro is going to be on the rise again, I think, this year or next. But I think it's going to be at least a 3-team race, maybe a 4-team race, with Overbrook getting hot. That's a bloop base hit in the right center field. Scoring is Glassby. And even though there was a bang-bang play at first, it is followed by an RBI out of the 9 slot. Elijah Cummings gets an RBI single. And the Cougars lead it now 2-0 here in the second. So 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and the lineup turns over to Pokrovsky.
Well, Cummings saw that slider a couple times throughout that at-bat and was able to time it up and just flare it into the shallow right center field. Drops in for a base hit, and Schalick extends the lead. Another run here for them. They lead 2-0.
Indeed. Strike called to Pokrovsky. 0-1. Pokrovsky, again, the two-way star. Not often do you see the pitcher batting leadoff, but in Group 1 baseball, it's more common than you think. There's a swing and a miss. Throw down to second by Koblenz is high, but he is safe. Tucci tripped over the runner at second, but he does get in there for a stolen bag for Cummings, and a 9-hitter moves into scoring position, and the count's going to be 0-2.
Pokrovsky does a good job there of swinging to protect Cummings over at first base. It allows for him to take the bag, and Koblenz doesn't give the best throw in the world. A failed hit and run, but moves a runner in scoring position.
As this one's floated into right field, this could drop. It will drop right over the first baseman's string. Pokrovsky going into second. That throw is wide, and that throw will go into left field. Spinelli's got to throw home. It's not going to be in time. Pokrovsky gets to second base. And on a circus-style play, Schalick has jumped out to a 3-0 lead as a handful of things went wrong there, and Woodstown was just on the short end of the stick. That is going to be an RBI single for Pokrovsky, and he is going to advance to second on I don't know who threw that ball to second. That might have been the first baseman's string. If so, it'll be an E3. A RBI single and an E3 as well as a quick mound visit with the pitcher. Scoring is Cummings from second base, and Schalick has put up their second run of the frame, 3-zip.
Well,
odd play.
It's not like Schalick is really hitting the ball that hard right now. They've just got a couple blue hits that have fallen for him, and Woodstown's helped him out with a couple errors, as you saw right there. Another one comes across, but Schalick's doing all the little things right now, just putting the ball in play with 2 strikes, as Pokrovsky did right there, and then advancing on some errors to capitalize, and now they lead the game 3-0. But Holiday has pitched decently well here. He hasn't been hit too hard, but just luck has not been on his side as a couple balls have dropped in for some bloop singles.
Some good hitting here, absolutely, and Schalick just doing the fundamentals here. They're not doing too much, and again, Pokrovsky, a .475 hitter this year, .432 in his career. That's his 20th hit, his 121st with Schalick. And now that will bring up Ricky Watt, the sophomore catcher, batting in the 2 slot. As Holiday looks back, runner on second for the Cougars. And the pitch. That will be down, 1-0. Watt, a .359 hitter this season, 8 RBIs, 14 for 39. A career .411 hitter, had a home run as a freshman and a .435 average. I mean, a .359 average is very good, but when you compare it to a .435 average, it's hard to believe. You know, that's a incredibly high bar to clear, but we've got a 1-1 count here to Watt. You know, it's how I talk about sometimes with players who bat like .375, but last year they hit .450 something. You know, it's hard to compare sometimes. And you talk about all these players that have had this success and have had this success at this developmental level. And then at the same time, well, you look at their numbers from last year. Weren't they better? Yeah, but it's still incredibly good. Holiday steps off.
Well, and I think that for a player like Watt as a sophomore, for his numbers to dip, and if this is the quote-unquote sophomore slump, he's going to have a fantastic career. I mean, last year, the eye-popping stat.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a swing and a miss. Watt goes down on strikes. It's the first K for Holiday, and there's 2 away. But, no, to your point, listen, batting .411 as a freshman, you could have any kind of sophomore slump and still be okay.
Yeah, just to finish the thought, I mean, the eye-popping stat from last year, he had 30 RBIs as a freshman last year. This year as a sophomore, still hitting well north of 300. He's going to be a really, really good player for the Schalick Cougars in his next 2 years.
So here is Seepers. Walked and came around his first time. This one's popped up. It's going to drop. It will land right at the chest. Throw to first. It's not in time. Instead of rushing the ball at short, Woodstown's Tommy Tucci lets it fall, and it is going to be almost an inadvertent base hit as it drops right in front of him. He let that ball fall, I think, way too far in front. He could have got in front of it and caught that ball, but I don't know. I mean, that's a tough call there.
And again, Holiday's not getting hit around really hard right now. Just a couple of blue pits, and you see another one right there. Tucci lets it drop in front of him, and Schalick is able to use that speed down the line, and now 2 runners on with 2 away here in the top of the second.
Yes, it's not even that he's hitting it that hard. The only ball that was hit really hard was DiAgostino. His RBI double from earlier, that almost went to the wall out in center field. But for a park this hitter-friendly, I'm very surprised that we haven't seen that much, especially, again, wind blowing out. Feels like the perfect storm, but right now that ethos has kind of been turned on its head. Counts 2-0 here to DiAgostino.
Well, and I think this game, Schalick's put up a couple runs on the board, but it's playing into the pitcher's hand very nicely right now. Still very early, but as it stands, Woodstown went up 1-2-3, so.
Mm-hmm. And we're already a rotation and a half through the order for Schalick here on the top of the second. But we've got a 3-0 count with 2 outs to DiAgostino. Jamari Whitley next. Setting up a little bit outside and gets a strike called, 3-1. Koblenz kind of setting up with that one-knee approach. You see a lot of major league catchers do that. Plenty of high school catchers still do the traditional crouch, but Koblenz extending that left leg a little bit further out for one reason or another, as has been popularized. And the 3-1 is fouled back. And after a 3-0 start to the at-bat, Holiday works himself back into the ball game with a 3-2 count to DiAgostino.
Well, and the reason that a lot of guys, or at least what I was taught, was when you go down on the one knee, you're more solid to the ground. You have a firmer base, and I used to do that when there was nobody on. And to be honest with you, it's a little bit more comfortable for your knees, but
there you go. Swing and a miss. Koblenz gets the good nod there as 2 strikeouts for Holiday end the second. 7 men came to the plate there in the second. It's a grand total of 13 batters in 2 frames, and they've got 3 runs to show for it. Not a shabby effort at all. We're going to the bottom of the second. 3-0 Cougars. Bottom of the second, Schalick 3, Woodstown 0. Luke Pokrovsky has really been the middleman in this game. Schalick's offense has been good. Woodstown's offense has had the potential to be good, but Luke Pokrovsky has mostly shut them down. Strike called to Dante Holmes to start the second. It's Holmes, Bielecki, and Batavio, the freshmen, 4, 5, and 6. for the Wolverines. That ball's fouled off. I think maybe the first inning was going to be better for Pokrovsky. Seems like Koblenz was the only one who really barreled up the ball. And he's quickly got an 0-2 count here, as Woodstown not only searching for their first run, looking for their first hit and their first base runner, as it's still very early, but Pokrovsky here at the Elmer Little League seeming to settle in. I mean, that fastball hitting as high as 89 from the left side, that's a reason why he's going to Penn. I mean, left-handers are worth their weight in gold when it comes to left-handers, especially if you've got good velocity and control. I think of Luke Wood of Pennsville. He's uncommitted right now, but he hits 88, 89 from the left side as well. And Pokrovsky being a two-way talent will really help Penn in the Ivy League. As we've got a 1-2 count here. Time called by the batter this time.
When he's got a great fastball, but also excellent off-speed stuff that complement the fastball so well. An excellent job at changing velocities.
That's a swing and a miss. That's 3 Ks for Pokrovsky so far. As now Bielecki, the senior center fielder, will bat here in the 5 spot for the Wolverines. By the way, as we enter the bottom of the second, I would like to wish a great congratulations to our camera operator, Ben Nicholas, who during the last inning received his acceptance to Temple University. We wish him the best of luck. We wish you the best of luck next year. I'll miss you at RCSJ, but I'm sure you will do great as an Owl. That one is foul.
Yeah, major congratulations to Ben, who
I went to high
school
yeah.
with, so definitely a major shout out. You're going to do great things there over at Temple University.
Have fun with Danny Leakin down there.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the only non-Sterling kid on this crew today. I'm also a Colonial Conference guy, but yeah, odd man in the middle. There's a ground ball, foul down the third base line, and it's 0-2. The week ahead on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, on Thursday, we will be covering Colonial action with my alma mater between the Haddon Heights Garnets and the Audubon Green Wave. First pitch at 4 o'clock. And then on Friday and Saturday, we'll be at RCSJ Gloucester for the Final Four in JUCO Region 19 play. RCSJ Gloucester has the 1 seed, but 6 teams will battle it out, and by the time we get to this weekend, 4 will look for a bid to the national championship. There's a swing and a miss. It is 4 for Pokrovsky this evening, as now, again, the freshman who mans right field today, Walker Batavio, bats. We saw Batavio start versus Glassboro in Woodstown's 15-5 win. We saw a very interesting game at Glassboro back on April 16th between Woodstown and Glassboro. Ended in 7, but it was a 10-run game, 15-5. As Batavio goes to bunt, I think Woodstown right now a little bit searching for answers. They're not really barreling up the ball very well except for Koblenz. And as you get to the bottom of the order, Mark DeCastro might say, hey, we're facing Schalick's #1 guy. We're facing a left-hander. We just have to figure out how to hit him. And you do have a bigger bat in Chase Harding next, but if you're Batavio, I might try to square up and bunt here. He does make contact, and it's foul.
Well, we even saw Koblenz square to bunt back in the first inning.
Correct.
And Koblenz is the only guy to put a ball in play right now. He flew out to left field, but Pokrovsky having an excellent day so far on the mound. He's seen 5 hitters, struck out 4 of them, just on an absolute roll right now for Schalick.
Here's no balls, 2 strikes. Outside, curveball had a little too much spin to it, and it's 1-2.
That's not a bad miss right there by Pokrovsky, just trying to get the hitter to chase way out of the zone, but still ahead in the count.
1-2, outside. Yeah, I mean, the 0-2 is mostly your waste pitch, right? You know, he threw that one away. Batavio's a freshman. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. What do you do if you're Pokrovsky? You try to get him to chase. If you throw it in the zone, he could hit it. If you throw it out of the zone and he swings and misses, it's a win-win situation for you. But he's worked the count to 2-2 with 2 outs, and he did not get the call that time. 3-2, just a little bit low and away, but not by much. And after an 0-2 start to the at-bat, Batavio has re-entered himself into the conversation. It's 3-2. The designated hitter, Harding, would be next. Here's the 3-2. Got him. 5 strikeouts for Luke Pokrovsky, 4 of them swinging. And he has struck out the side to end the second. We go to the top of the third here at Elmer. 3-0 Cougars.
in Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned, full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Here in the top of the third, hear from Elmer, Little League, cutting through Elmer and Upper Pittsgrove. We'd like to give a big shout out to John Cummings of Revive South Jersey and Anthony D'Agostino for helping us get everything secured for today's game. And as requested by them, we would like to shout out some of the sponsors of the Elmer Little League to be recognized this evening. South Jersey Forever Lawn, Centerton Orthodontics, Teal Estate, Bostwick's Lumber, Cumberland Mutual, and Shepherd Bus. We wish them the best of luck, and also we hope that they become DWB sponsors very soon, as it's 0-2. Whitley, Hats, and Glassby 5, 6, and 7 for the Cougars. They sent 6 men to the plate in the first, 7 in the second. They've been on a roll off of Holiday, but they've got an 0-2 count here, and the pitch. Down. Holiday lost his cap in the interim, but it's 1-2. Whitley singled on a half swing, its first time in the first.
Holiday just tried to speed him up right there. Went with the slider a couple times and the fastball just off the plate, but Whitley doesn't chase.
This time he does. It's hit off of the third baseman's glove into left field for a base hit. Tough play down there at third. It hugged the line, but ended up getting past Holmes, and it'll be a base hit for Whitley, his second of the day.
Well, there was that slider again that he had seen a couple times earlier in the at-bat. This one just catches the heart of the plate. He turns on it a little early, but a tough play over at third and no throw over to first. So another infield single depending on how you score it at home, and a leadoff base runner nevertheless for Schalick.
Yeah, honestly, I did switch mine to an E5, mostly because the third baseman, he didn't really have to range too far. He was there, and then it bounced up off of his glove. So I do like explaining sometimes how things are scored. I don't know if we were doing an NCAA college baseball game, the scoring would be a lot more centered in and universal. But if you see NJ.com box scores, sometimes those boxes can be a Wild West. We had a game 2 years ago where the home team had 5 errors, and I think it was 5 errors and 5 hits, and that's not a great game for anybody. But then I go into NJ.com the day after, and they magically now have 9 hits and 1 error. And I'm thinking at it, and I'm like, these are very blatant and fundamental errors in the infield that the home scorekeeper had scored as a hit. And unfortunately, when the home – I had a conversation with Lou Monaco of NJ.com a couple weeks ago, and what I said and what he agreed as well was that every team should keep their own book and submit their own scores. Just even if you lose 20-0, you should still have to score your own book and keep it in your records. That one's down the right field line, and under it making the catch will be Batavio for the first out, as Hats flies out to right to bring up Glassby. Glassby had a ground rule double to lead off the second as a part of a 2-run frame in the second.
Batavia, what looked like a pretty routine play, almost lost it in the sun, but he's able to get a glove on it, and what could have been another error there for Woodstown was avoided for the first out of the inning.
That ball's hit well out towards left field. It's hit well down the line. It is foul. Took out somebody down the line. And it's 0-1. And that's what we talked about literally hitting the ball to the next town over. That is exactly what they did. And it's 0-1.
Doesn't get any runs on the scoreboard, but still pretty cool. Along strike number 1, literally hit into the next town over. As we were talking about earlier, the outfield is the dividing line between these two towns that separate these two high schools. A neat little fact here at this field in Elmer Little League.
It's very interesting, and we talked about it a little bit in the open, but that one is hit off of his foot. The umpire does call a foul ball. Bit of a late call there, but it's 0-2. Some final scores from around South Jersey. Gloucester Catholic beat Williamstown 11-1, and actually while we're at it, Mark DeCastro is coming out to talk to the umpire, making sure that the ball did hit Hatz's foot, or excuse me, Glaspie's foot. Again, Gloucester Catholic beat Williamstown 11-1. Buna beat Oakcrest 10-2. Pittman beat Gloucester, an old Tri-County rivalry reborn, 14-4. Middle Township beat Atlantic City 7-2. Cherry Hill West beat Bridgeton 23-0. Cedar Creek beat Holy Spirit 11-1. Mainland and Hamilton, that score, okay, Mainland did win 6-0. And then Ocean City beat Southern 5-1. There's a strikeout there. And the final score we'll mention is that St. Joe's Hamilton beat Wildwood Catholic 3-0. Glaspie strikes out. That is the third for Holiday.
Well, a really nice pitch there from Holiday. A slider that catches the outside part of the corner. And you heard the crowd get a little fired up. Not a lot of things going Woodstown's way here today, but that strikeout gets the Wolverine fans a little more involved here in this one.
1-0 here. Yeah, just something to get Woodstown a little bit fired up because Schalick has been doing very well here. And for Woodstown, this is an opportunity, especially with Pokrovsky doing as well as he is. They just got to get something going. And if it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball, anything to turn that momentum over will be big. As it's 1-1 here. Gets a strike called in the lower half. Lamazza grounded out in a rare 4-1 ground out. His first time.
Yeah, Holiday on that play came over to cover the bag.
Runner does get down to second base. A late throw trickles into center field. Runner didn't see it, and Whitley holds there. So Lamazza now dealing with a runner in scoring position at second base.
Yeah, Koblenz definitely with a late throw on that one, and a runner in scoring position with 2 away. As Schalick looks to extend their lead here.
And they're 180 feet from doing it. Here's the pitch. Outside, 3-1. Next batter will be Elijah Cummings for Schalick if the inning continues. As Holiday, after a big strikeout to Glaspie, now running a little bit behind here versus Lamazza. Holiday looks back, and a 3-1. Grounded, high chopper, out to second. Picked up. Throw to first is in time, and the inning is over. Woodstown keeps Schalick off the board for the first time today. They go to the bottom half of the third, 3-0. Bottom of the third inning, Schalick 3, Woodstown 0. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. You can visit today or 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike in Audubon. Here at the Elmer Classic, 13th annual, Luke Pokrovsky, 6 up, 6 down for him so far for the left-hander. He's got a 1-0 count to the number 7 hitter for the Wolverines, Chase Harding, to be followed by Fulmer and Tommy Tucci. 1-0. Also outside, 2-0.
Well, and if 6 up, 6 down wasn't dominant enough, he struck out 5 of those 6 batters. He's been on fire to begin this game here for Schalick.
Indeed. 2 balls, no strikes. Pokrovsky also misses high. 3-0 here. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Jake Clark up here in the booth at the Elmer Little League. Ben Nicholas on the camera operation today. Got a full crew in tow. Again, like we said, our next broadcast will be Thursday between Haddon Heights and Audubon. And then JUCO softball playoffs, the Final Four in Region 19 on Friday and Saturday. There's a strike called. Harding, the designated hitter in today's contest. Running into some decent numbers this year. 6'2", 190 as a junior. And that'll be ball 4. Oh no, they did call that a strike. I didn't hear the batter, or I didn't hear the umpire, and then the batter dropped his equipment. And it's now a 3-2 count. So count is full here. Harding batting .273, 3 for 11. Pretty small sample size here, but 5 RBIs, and all of his hits are singles. That time he gets the free pass. Pokrovsky doesn't agree with the call, and that'll be a free pass, his first base runner of the day. And Harding will reach.
Number 3 at the plate, Lucas Fuller.
As Pokrovsky kind of cracking a sarcastic smile. And now Fulmer's the batter.
Yeah, definitely didn't agree with the call. But
just off of body language alone, that ball drops in front of the catcher Watt, and it's 1-0.
Well, and body language is something that I think goes really under the radar, but it means a whole lot to the umpires. If you have poor body language, your strike zone as a pitcher gets a whole lot smaller, and if you're a batter, it gets a whole lot larger. And I was shocked to see that pitch that was a borderline strike get called the ball there, and the runner in Harding now going over to first.
Absolutely, and we like to believe that in a perfect world, all umpires will call the game by the letter of the law every time. We'll call it by the millimeters of the strike zone, and from the bottom of the letters to the top of the knees, everything like that. We believe that, but in principle, it's not really true. There are inherent biases that exist in umpiring, and sometimes umpires will have a bone to pick with somebody. Is it the way that it should be? Probably not, but it's the way that it is. And in this case, I don't think Pokrovsky's going to be gaining any favorability with his reaction there. He didn't do anything that would have been ejectable, but he certainly may have rubbed some people the wrong way with that. As it's 1-1, Pokrovsky looks over at first, and the pitch. Breaking ball. They do call it a strike because the batter swung. However, Harding does get down to second base, and it counts 1-2.
And so, looks like DeCastro
also not happy either.
He just wanted to be sure that it was called a strike. It looked like Fulmer kept his bat out and didn't pull back in time, and therefore it was a strike. But the pass ball allows for Harding to get up to second and in scoring position. And even with 2 strikes here with an offense that's struggling, I wouldn't be shocked to see Lucas Fulmer square to bunt again and try and get Harding over to third.
Absolutely. There's a swing and a miss that time. Make that a half dozen for Pokrovsky. That's the first out. And now Tommy Tucci, the number 9 batter, will bat for the Wolverines.
Well, head coach DeCastro had a little bit more faith than I did in Lucas Fulmer, but didn't pay off that time. He went down swinging, but still in a great spot here. The leadoff runner on, just 1 away, and a chance to get on the board here for Woodstown.
Popped up foul. Heads up, as they like to say down there.
But even with that leadoff base runner, Woodstown is still searching for their first hit of the game, and the dugout has a whole lot of life here as they're trying to claw their way back into this one against the Division I commit on the mound.
Absolutely. That one called a strike there, 0-2 to Tucci. Caden Spinelli, the left fielder, will be next. Tommy Tucci, the sophomore shortstop for the Wolverines. 5'10", 150. And time is called at the plate. Just prior to 7:25 here at Elmer Little League. 0-2. Was late on the swing but made contact. Tucci, a .250 hitter this year as a sophomore. 9 for 36, 8 RBIs, and a .361 slugging percentage. This is the third time we've covered Woodstown this year. Second time we've covered Schalick. We called the game together for Woodstown and Gateway back on March 29th, and then we saw them again versus Glassboro on April 16th. So this is the third time seeing them this year. That one is down. Pokrovsky lost his hat throwing the ball there, and it's 1-2. Schalick, of course, we saw on April 18th versus Rancocas Valley, a game that Schalick won 10-3, en route to what is now an 11-1 record in the regular season. Here's the 1-2. Outside. 2-2 here.
And regardless, even though Pokrovsky hasn't given up a hit, Woodstown is doing a nice job of making him work a little bit more on the mound, trying to up his pitch count.
And that one's outside. 2-2.
And it seems like Pokrovsky is just trying to throw, putting a little extra on the fastball. Now the count filled up 3-2.
3-2 here to Tucci. Pokrovsky delivers fastball, tipped foul, just barely by the skin of his teeth, made some contact. And it's 3-2.
Well, this is a great at-bat here from Tommy Tucci, the 9-hole hitter, forcing a full count, fouling away a couple pitches. And for an offense that has struggled to this point, they're seeing a lot of pitches now from Pokrovsky. An excellent at-bat here from Tommy Tucci. And you got to hope for him that he's rewarded with getting on base, whether it be through the walk or a base hit.
Absolutely. As he steps off that time, Pokrovsky gets back on the hill. He's got a 3-2 count, 1 away, 6 strikeouts, and a runner in scoring position. The Penn commit steps off. Again, you know, both pitchers coming into this game with a sub 1.5 ERA. Time called again at the plate. This game could just really turn into a standoff of who can drag out the longest at bat. Pokrovsky, 3-2, fouled again. And it's 3-2 again to Tucci, the 9-hitter, who even as a 9-hitter has been doing his job and working up Pokrovsky's pitch count with a runner in scoring position, and you hope if you're Woodstown that he can put a ball in play. Here's the 3-2. That is ball 4. Gives up his second walk of the inning. That one was certainly low that time. No arguing that one. And Woodstown now has 2 runners on to bring the top of the lineup card up in Caden Spinelli, the left fielder.
And an excellent at-bat right there. Rewarded with the walk was Tucci, and now Woodstown making a little bit of noise out on the base paths with 2 on.
Now he bunts. This one's going to roll right to Pokrovsky. They'll throw to the lead runner at third. They tag. What's the call? He's safe. They call him safe at third. Close play down there. However, if it's the lead runner at third, if the lead runner is at third, then he should be out on the force.
Yeah,
the problem is that Whitley was not on the third base bag. He was kind of trailing the runner behind him. That is where the problem is.
Well, it looked like, regardless, Whitley fell on the bag. But we're going to take another look at it here. I mean, regardless, Pokrovsky, he had the out at first, tried to get the lead runner at third, and I'm not sure if it's going to pay off. The umpires are meeting. They're going to call him safe, but we're still going to look at it here.
Yeah, let's take another look here. We're going to look at it in halftime here. Here's the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting replay presented by Garden State Pet Center.
Rewarded with base paths with 2
Here's the
on.
look.
Now
So you can see he
bunts.
bunts it right up the third base line, and then right there, that's a tough call. Looks like maybe he got it in there, but Woodstown calls the runner safe, or excuse me, umpires call the runner safe. And we stay alive here, bases loaded, and still one away. They call that an infield single there for Spinelli. Strike called again, 0-2. I think Pokrovsky's fired up now. He's got an 0-2 count. He's got the bases loaded. He's just firing them like there's no tomorrow. I mean, he is throwing those balls so hard. That's not a fired up left-hander. That's an angry left-hander.
Well, in the words of Dave Sims, I mean, hey now, that one ran way inside. I definitely wouldn't want to be Rocco String in the box with that fastball coming at me.
Well, with the 6'6" junior, he fouls this one back. String, a 3-sport athlete in football, wrestling, and baseball. Again, I mean, Woodstown is a farm town. There's more cattle than people, but I mean, listen, they make them different down here. We talked about, first of all, who goes to, or formerly went to RCSJ, Kara Noor. Went to Woodstown, multiple-time national champion in shot put, in track and field. And then Rocco String, I mean, 6'6" as a junior. This guy was this tall as a freshman. As the 1-2. String fouls it back. That one is hit deep outside of the foul territory. As String.
When you have Pokrovsky coming up, firing that fastball around 89, String, who's hitting over 500 on the year with the bases loaded, this is a big point in this game.
Ground ball foul. He's got 8 career home runs, 4 as a junior, 4 as a sophomore, his first season, 3 as a junior, and 1 this year. The one lone home run being versus versus Collingswood, a home game for Woodstown. So you've got a 1-2 count. Pokrovsky versus String. David versus Goliath. He misses low. And it's 2-2. I mean, this could be really good here. One away, bases loaded. String's got a hitter-friendly park. World is his oyster, but Pokrovsky's trying to shut him down. 2-2. Swing and a miss! A huge strikeout for Pokrovsky as he gets the fastball upstairs. That's the 7th. And now Koblenz will be the last man standing between a bases-loaded jam and possibly some offense for the Wolverines.
Well, Luke Pokrovsky playing mind games right there. Goes with the changeup, buries it in the dirt, doesn't get the swing and miss. Then he goes with the fastball right around the neck level of Rocco String. He chases outside the zone, and a big strikeout there for the left-hander.
Strike called 0-1 to the junior catcher Koblenz, who had the first real barrel off of Pokrovsky. Lined it out to left field to end the first, and Woodstown with the bases loaded, looking for really their first glimpse of offense today. They have picked up their first hit on the hit by Spinelli. However, we'll have to see how this works out here, as we've got an 0-1. Koblenz out to left center field, going back and to the wall, making the catch in left center field is Evan Seepers. And Luke Pokrovsky gets out of a bases-loaded jam in the bottom of the third as Koblenz hits that one to the deepest part of a very small ballpark. It's 3-0 Cougars going to the bottom, rather top of the 4th.
Literally, they've been here twice, and they're about to score, or on the doorstep of scoring 50 for the second game in a row. Xavier Terry Brown. He is still on his feet. He's being shoved forward into the end zone. But who's got the ball? Look at Jason Solomon. The ball magically appeared in Woodbury's hands, and now they're back at the 50. This one's going back. This one's going to go to the distance. I don't see any flags. Did that just go for 100 yards? I think it did. I do not see any flags as Woodbury. Oh my goodness, Jason Solomon, have a day. He is the first man not named Taylor to score. Wow, that was good.
Top of the fourth inning, the beautiful scenery of Salem County back behind the plate. Great shot by Ben Nicholas there. As here at the 13th Annual Elmer Classic, it's the top of the fourth inning. It's time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question of the day is, who has the most games played of any player in Philadelphia Phillies history? Is it A, Jimmy Rollins, B, Larry Boa, C, Richie Ashburn, or D, Mike Schmidt? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the fourth inning. What an inning in the bottom of the third for the Cougars. Bases loaded, one out. Pokrovsky got a little bit ticked there with some calls made, but he gets out of it, fired the fastball up, cranked it as if it was a cyborg coming out of his left hand, and he gets a deep fly out by Ty Koblenz to end the inning. It's 9-1-2 for Schalick in the top of the fourth. Holiday still out there with the 3-run deficit for the Wolverines, with Cummings, Pokrovsky, and Watt the batters. Misses low there, 2-0.
Well, and the biggest at bat of the game with the best hitter for Woodstown at the plate.
At least so far, yeah.
With the best pitcher on the mound for Schalick, and it ended going in favor of the Schalick Cougars, but a lot of high adrenaline moments here in this one.
As the count will be 3-0 here for the Cougars, with Cummings, who had an RBI single in the second inning. He's 1 for 1 on the day. Strike call, 3-0. Good news for Woodstown, I think, is that they're going to have the 4, 5, and 6 guys in the bottom of the fourth, but they got to get the offense going. I mean, this is a hitter-friendly ballpark, and we've barely seen a ball get close to the wall. Maybe it's just because of, maybe the fact that it's an all-dirt infield. It could be the fact that the mound has been higher, and it's a little bit hard to see. We see sometimes, we talk about high school fields a lot, but what really doesn't get talked about a lot is how unstandardized high school fields are. For example, Gloucester Catholic. If you've ever played at Gloucester Catholic, it's 467 feet to center field with no fence. They don't have any temporary fencing. The left field wall is quite literally a church, and the center field wall is wherever it lands on the playground. That'll be a free pass to Cummings. But then you have other places like PVI who, because of Sadler's Woods in center field, it's only 315 feet to center field. And then Woodstown, not only is it 327 to center, but there's also just the standard height fence. Now, the wind tunnel at Woodstown kind of makes it so that it always blows in. But it's been very interesting to go throughout these last 4 years and see how many baseball fields are just so odd in New Jersey. That one's popped foul. And not to mention, we haven't been to some of the weirdest fields in the state, like Union City, that's on top of a parking garage, and Edison, which is a red turf of their field. It's 0-1 here to Pokrovsky.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Gloucester Catholic is definitely one of the more strange ones I've played on.
I think the reason why they don't have a temporary fence is because of the softball team. But at the same time, we go to Haddon Township all the time. They have a temporary fence for baseball, and then you just reverse it, flip it around for softball. So, I don't know. Woodstown, though, it should be noted that as a team, they only have 2 home runs on the season. One from Holmes, which was at Glassboro, and one for String, which was at home. So even though Woodstown is a 327-foot center field, they only have 2 home runs. One of them was at home. The other one was when we were at Glassboro. As here's the 1-2 from Holiday. Pokrovsky swings and misses at a high fastball. The runner's going to be out by a mile. Strike him out, throw him out, double play, and Cummings is retired, and so is Pokrovsky. Strike him out, throw him out for the second out of the fourth.
Well, a really good play there for Woodstown, and a big one that they needed. They really have, they got off to a bad start, giving up a couple runs earlier in this game, but they're finding their footing a little bit, and they just had the bases loaded, and they only have 1 hit to this point, so they're putting pressure on the offensive side of the ball. They just haven't been able to come through yet, and a big defensive play there to try and get those bats back in the dugout.
That one is high to Ricky Watt. It's 1-0, but I think what keeps the Woodstown ball in the ballpark a lot, again, is that wind tunnel. The wind is almost always blowing in from center field because it's flat. It's very flat there. That'll be a hit by pitch for Ricky Watt, and that'll bring up Evan Seepers here to give a 2-out base runner to the Cougars. But we see the same at RCSJ Gloucester as well. Our college is that you see with all of these fields, the wind just kind of blows everywhere because there's no trees to stop the wind. Here, there's a lot of trees. There's trees behind us. There's trees out in center field. There's trees everywhere. Caillou and George would love that. I couldn't think of the name. Curious George. There we go. They would all love being here. But the thing is that stops the wind, and it keeps the ball in the ballpark, which Woodstown doesn't have that. Jack Holliday will get the baseball taken from him by Mark DeCastro, and with 2 outs in the top of the 4th, his day is done. The final line for Holliday, the senior right-hander, will be 3 runs, 2 earned. Actually, excuse me, all 3 runs were earned. And he finishes the day with 3 strikeouts and 5 hits for the Wolverines. New pitcher will come in for Woodstown, as it'll be a southpaw. You've got Pokrovsky. Mark DeCastro's got something up his sleeve. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. We'll be right back.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Woodstown's got a new arm, as on the hill for the Wolverines will be number 10, Dante Spina. The left-hander coming in here for the Wolverines. The left-hander replacing, again, Jack Holliday, the senior. So I am a little bit surprised that they made the change, but I think they got lucky. Pokrovsky struck out into a double play. You don't know if you can strike lightning in a bottle twice, and with Seepers coming up here hard of the order with Seepers, D'Agostino, and Whitley, could create some damage. And with 2 outs, I like the fact that they're putting in a lefty. Lefty-lefty matchup here versus Seepers and D'Agostino. Makes for a good platoon of sorts. But Spina, the junior southpaw for the Wolverines, coming into this game with 10 innings, 16 strikeouts, and a 3.5 ERA, a career 5.01 mark. 33 strikeouts in his career, 16 this season. Slider misses up and in, 2-0.
Yeah, he's making his 5th appearance of the year. Also has 9 walks compared to 5 earned runs. As you mentioned, a 3.50 ERA and just 10 innings pitched. But they go to the lefty with a couple lefties coming up here in this Schalick order.
I certainly like the idea here, especially down by 3. You got to pull into your bag of tricks a little bit. However, count is 3-0 and complicates things a tiny bit. Count is 3-0. I mean, what good is putting in a left-hander if he can't get strikes? But Seepers has reached base twice, a walk and a single, and he has just picked up his 2nd walk of the day. That puts 2 runners on for Schalick. Watt reached on a hit by pitch. He's now at 2nd. Wonder if they might go for a 2-out courtesy runner here, but D'Agostino, the 2nd lefty in a row, will bat with Jamari Whitley on deck.
That brings up your cleanup batter, number 7, Lucas D'Agostino.
D'Agostino, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but had that double into the gap his first time up. Has a lot of pop in that bat up at the plate and with a runner in scoring position, looking to bring one home.
Look out. Oh, strike called. I don't know if I've ever seen not in a long time have I seen a batter fly out of the box like their life depended on it and then get a strike call against them. But yes, D'Agostino had the first run of the game. RBI double to right center in the first. Schalick scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Offense has been dormant since with a ground ball. Foul down the first base line. First 3 for Schalick. In the bottom of the fourth will be Dante Holmes, Blake Bielecki, and the freshman, Walker Batavio.
Wow, and how about that first pitch there from Dante Spina? Backed the hitter well up off the plate, but caught the inside part of the corner there and was called a strike, and he's ahead in the count 0-2.
So after a 4-pitch walk, now settling back in. I mean, that's a good rebound there from Spina. I think he was still trying to find his footing on the mound there during that first at-bat to Seepers. Gave up I think it was a 4 or 5 pitch walk, and then now he's got D'Agostino in a pitcher's count 1-2 here, but 2 runners on with 2 away. 1-2 does miss outside, and this is not what you want for Spina here. You do have a right-hander coming up in Jamari Whitley, and with the bases loaded, you don't want to mess up. You don't want to make that mistake. And right now, we'll see what they've got in the store. But got a 2-2 count, 2 away. Watt on second and Seepers on first. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Kind of moved his foot forward there, but unfortunately just didn't get the good contact that he needed as D'Agostino strikes out swinging to end the inning. Schalick is left scoreless for the second inning in a row. They bring 5 men to the plate. Going to the bottom of the fourth here in Elmer and Upper Pittsgrove, 3-0.
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away. He's donning the number 34 and the shortstop for this one. First pitch. There's a line drive into center field. That one is going to drop it. It's going to go to the outfield wall. 1 run will score. Spence is going to make a huge arc around third. She will score to make it 3-0. And here comes the runner to score. It's an inside the park home run for Ella Hayes to make it a 4-0 game. A 3-run inside the Parker to the 2.
Bottom of the fourth here at Elmer Little League. It's 3-0 Schalick. They took an early lead, 1 run in the first, 2 in the second, but a scoreless third and fourth. Woodstown left the bases loaded. In the bottom of the third, a fly out to left by Ty Koblenz sealed their fate in that inning. It's time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is, who has played the most games of any player in Philadelphia Phillies history? Is it A, Jimmy Rollins, B, Larry Boa, C, Richie Ashburn, or D, Mike Schmidt? The answer is, well, Jake, I was going to have you guess, but it is Mike Schmidt, as he has played over 400 games more than the next in line. Mike Schmidt, of course, with his long career from 1972 to 1989 with the Phillies, played 2,404 games. Jimmy Rollins is in second with 2,079, and then in third is Richie Ashburn, in fourth is Larry Boa, all above the 2,000 mark. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pokrovsky to Holmes. And a swing and a miss. Make that 8 for LP13. And he strikes out Holmes for the second time tonight to bring up Bielecki.
Well, Pokrovsky just picking up right where he left off, had his back against the wall with the bases loaded, got out of a jam, and then back to the punch out, his 8th of the day here for Schalick.
I was worried that Pokrovsky being a little bit upset in the third was going to affect him for the rest of the day. I mean, he got the bases loaded, 2 walks and a single for Woodstown in the bottom of the third, but it didn't seem to faze him there. I mean, he's back right where he started. Had a time to get back up to the plate for Schalick and find a way to get back into his groove. He had some time to think it over in the dugout. Maybe his Schalick coaches are talking to him, and now he's right back in it with a 1-1 count and already a strikeout to Holmes, the cleanup man. So we said Holmes has one of 2 home runs for Woodstown as an entire team this season. And that one was versus Glassboro, the game that we last covered for Woodstown back on April 16th. Here's the 2-1. Whoa! Look out below. Got the rug pulled out from underneath him, and he takes a seat during his swing. 2-2.
Wow. I mean, I can't say the last time I've seen that.
Oh, strike 3. A little bit low there, but by luck he strikes out. It's the 9th for Pokrovsky. Just the second one of the looking variety. And now it'll be Walker Batavio, the right fielder. The freshman. The only freshman in the lineup this evening for Woodstown as the sunset continues to fall here on Upper Salem County. 2 of the best schools in Salem County, but I will say, Salem County's had some very good baseball this year. I mean, Woodstown, Schalick, don't forget about Pennsville as well. You know, I think 6 high schools in Salem County. The other 3 that we didn't mention were Salem, Pennsgrove, and Salem Tech, which does not field a baseball team. But I think that when you have 3 teams, when you have 50% of the teams in a very sparsely populated county doing very well for themselves, I think it deserves some flowers. I mean, you know, Pennsville's kind of under Matt Carr. We had a conversation with him a couple weeks ago. They haven't had the start to the season that they've wanted, but they've still had a good one nonetheless. They've really had a good second half rebound, especially with guys like Peyton O'Brien breaking out and Chase Birchfield. One's outside and it's 3-1. As Pokrovsky still settling in here versus Batavio. He struck out the first 2. He'll set up Whitley, Hatz, and Glassby in the top of the 5th for the Cougars. As we've got a 3-1 on the way. Lined out towards second. It's going to be backhanded. No. Got under the glove of the second baseman. Trickles into right field for a base hit. If you were unsure if Spinelli's base hit should have been called that leaves no doubt. And Pokrovsky gives up his second hit of the day, and it's to the freshman, Walker Batavio.
Well, Batavio, the left-hander, got ahead in the count, and you saw Pokrovsky try to go outside a couple times with that breaking pitch. He didn't chase up at the plate, got a pitch he could hit, and then ended up getting that one into the outfield for a base hit with 2 outs.
Strike called there to Harding, designated hitter in the 7th spot for the Wolverines. It's 0-1. Harding walked to lead off the top of the 3rd, albeit a little controversially. Fires that one in there like he's got nothing to lose. It's 0-2. I mean, this is that kind of fired-up energy that Schalick needs. They haven't had too much on the offensive side in the 3rd and the 4th, but now this is playing pretty well into their favor. Looking for double-digit Ks. He steps off.
Well, when you have somebody on the mound like Pokrovsky, just a couple runs.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got over 300 strikeouts, too. First guy in South Jersey since 2011 to do that. And, I mean, again, committed to Penn. There's not too many guys like Pokrovsky, LP13 out there. He's got 9 tonight. He's had 122 strikeouts during his junior season. Most pitchers don't accumulate 122 strikeouts in a 4-year career at the high school level. But Luke Pokrovsky, I think he set the world on fire last year, and now everybody's got him on notice. That's the 1-2. That one's hit out towards left. That's a base hit for Harding. His first, team's 3rd. And Woodstown, as they did in the 3rd, have put the bat to the ball and have 2 base hits here in the bottom of the 4th, bringing up Chase Fulmer here.
And a good piece of hitting right there for Harding and Woodstown, and now a little 2-out magic working in the bottom half of the 4th inning. 2 runners on, 2 away. And again, not a lot of balls that are jumping off the bat here in this hitter-friendly park with the good pitchers out on the mound, but a couple of timely singles here and there.
That's a swing and a miss. 0-1. That one is hit out to third. Whitley will tag the bag, throw across to Diamond. Well, it didn't matter because it was the third out of the inning anyway. Whitley went for out number 4, which was not needed, but they do get out of it unscathed. 2 runners on 2 hits, but no runs. 3-0 Schalick after 4.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Mike Valente is the new pitcher for Woodstown. We're through 4 here at Elmer Little League. This broadcast is brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. You can check out their video from the Rowan After Hours event held at the Chamberlain Student Center on April 17th, on their YouTube page, and you can visit their website, DAWG Pro Wrestling, for information on future events and ticketing. Schalick sent 5 men to the plate in the 4th. They did not score. They've had multiple base runners on in each inning. However, they did not score. After scoring 2 runs in the 2nd, it's been a 3-0 game, pretty ho-hum since. But it's Whitley, Hatz, and Glassby, 5, 6, and 7 for the Cougars, as Valente gets a strike on the outside corner to Whitley, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, the offense is stopped pretty much to a halt in this one after Woodstown and their pitching staff has found their footing and gotten a little bit more comfortable.
As Whitley pops it up back behind the plate and out of play.
But I think the big thing was that Woodstown, their defense tightened up a little bit. They had a couple of blue hits and then a few errors that allowed for Schalick to get on the board. And then on the other side of things, Pokrovsky has just been lights out. Almost now double-digit strikeouts for him. I think he's sitting at 9 right now.
That would be correct, as it's a 1-2 count here. Valente kicks and delivers. That one's high and in. I remember from last year, Valente was lights out as an opener. Mark missed his name there. Mark DeCastro went with a different strategy. He pitched 20 1/3 innings and had 21 strikeouts, but had an ERA of 0.34. As Whitley's fly ball to right is caught for 1 away. But they used Valente last year mostly as an opener, including in the South Jersey Group 1 semifinals versus Audubon. He had 20 1/3 innings, but he only had just under 300 pitches for the entire season. And that was only 17 hits, 1 earned run, and 2 walks for the entire season. But they have since moved away from using him as an opener, and they still have him in a key relief role, though. He still hasn't pitched over 2 1/3 this season in 5 appearances. Popped up to first base. String is there. 2 up, 2 down for Valente in the 5th as a fly out to right by Whitley and a very quick pop out to first by Enrico Hatz brings up Glaspie.
Yeah, we talk about Valente. He's got 5 appearances on the year, 6 2/3 innings pitched entering this one, 8 strikeouts, just 2 earned runs, and a 2.10 ERA. But Valente, a guy that we saw pitch in Woodstown's opening game against Gateway.
Had 2 1/3 in that game. Got the job done in a 6-0 final. What a game Gateway had a couple of days ago at Cooperstown. Played Gloucester. Had what we call the ultimate grand slam. As that one's popped up, right field side. Caught in right field. 3 good plays by Woodstown, specifically by Walker Batavio. Key part of that inning. For the first time today, Schalick puts nothing on the board. No runs, no hits, no base runners. As 2 flyouts and a pop-out send Schalick to the dugouts, or rather out to the fields, rather early. We go to the bottom of the 5th here at Elmer, 3-0 Woodstown.
One nothing Red Bank. Now here is Al D'Elia. The man they used to call Big Al has now slimmed down, and he still hits dingers. He went viral in 2018 for his catchphrase during the Little League World Series when he was introduced by the ESPN camera crews and was given his standard introduction. He said, "Hi, my name's Big Al, and I hit dingers." And that sentiment still holds true today. He had his first career high school home run versus Rumson Fairhaven in their opening game of the campaign last week. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. But D'Elia, kind of a folk hero for baseball players who just want to hit the ball far and have fun while doing it. The poster child now is the poster big fella. Fly ball right center field. This is going to be a sac fly. Taken in by Terranova, and Big Al might not hit dingers, but he certainly drives in runs.
First pitch in the bottom of the 5th is a strike. As we get back underway with Prokrovsky, 9 strikeouts. He gave up 2 singles in the 4th. As that one is outside, 1-1. It's Tucci, Spinelli, and String here in the bottom of the 5th. What do you think the outlook is here for Luke Prokrovsky? He's kept his pitch count relatively low. He's struck out 9 so far, which is always a good sign, but I don't know how long he's going to stay in the game just because he has had some control issues. But if it keeps Schalick in the game to keep him going, I say I would keep him going for as long as O'Brien can keep him there.
Yeah, I think that the mindset would have to be to try and keep him in the game, and his mindset should really just to be attacking these hitters.
Right.
They haven't really been able to touch up the fastball. They've gotten a couple of weak contact singles here and there. The one was a bunt single, but I mean, if he is able to pound the strike zone, which he's unable to do right there as he gives up a walk, but if he can keep pounding the strike zone, he's going to be in for a longer start in this one, but gives up the leadoff walk. And the door is open now for Woodstown to try and get that 0 off the scoreboard.
Well, that was the second walk that Tucci has received today. It is the 3rd total for the senior left-hander, again committed to Penn. And now Spinelli, the batter, to bring us back to the top of the order for the Wolverines. Lefty moved to first, not in time. Yeah, lefty pickoff moves almost like a cheat code. I'm honestly surprised that Prokrovsky hasn't used it more, but he's been successful enough to where he doesn't really need to utilize that. Throws it back again, and no luck there.
Well, the lefty pickoff is something that as a runner on first, you have to be careful with as he goes back for a 3rd time over there to check on Tucci. Doesn't seem to want to work to the top of the order just yet to Spinelli, but a different combination of pickoffs. We saw the leg lift, and then he stepped off and threw over as well. And now time
call to the plate.
No one wants to do anything
This is what we call baseball at the DMV. Nobody moves anywhere, and everybody just walks around in circles until everybody goes home. Finally, the first pitch is a strike. 3 pickoff attempts and 1 step out. And it's 0-1 here to Spinelli, the left fielder, who's 1 for 2. Strikeout looking to begin the ball game, and then a single in the third. First hit of the day for the Wolverines. They've got 3 total. Time called, and you could see what Pokrovsky did there. I kind of circle back to that thing that he did in the first inning where the umpire explicitly told Pokrovsky to throw it down to the plate so that he avoids getting hurt. And that time he did it there as well. And I don't know if that was just something that he always did or if he had a brain fart that one time and forgot to throw. But I like what he did there just because it's better for your arm that way. It sounds counterintuitive. Throwing the ball at 90 miles per hour sounds extremely unhealthy for your arm, and it is. But it's better to do that than, again, throw. It's like putting a paper clip into metal gears. It's going to mess everything up. It's going to get everything out of alignment, and it can really mess up your rhythm and your arm's health as well. In a game that is increasingly growing in terms of Tommy John surgeries, in terms of arm injuries. That one is fouled back 1-2. I mean, there was a pitcher for Don Bosco who was missing his junior year because of Tommy John surgery, which is usually what we see at the college level, at the major leagues, at the minor leagues. But pitchers in high school are throwing so much harder now with all these personal training stuff and all the rest of it that it almost becomes impossible for pitchers to avoid arm injuries, even as, young adults and older kids here. That one's fouled back on a little tip there. And that was a strikeout called. That's his 10th of the day. And now String will be the batter with 1 away.
Yeah, that one just tipped into the glove of Watts behind the dish.
Barely made enough contact.
For the 10th strikeout of the day for Pokrovsky.
And first pitch, strike called. 0-1 to String. String 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Had a big K with the bases loaded in the third that led to Ty Koblenz flying out to left and squashing the threat. Pokrovsky steps off.
I mean, back to the Tommy John surgery, there are a lot of high schoolers that are starting to get that surgery more and more, and I think it's because they're playing at such high levels in the summer. You're playing club ball. A lot of these guys trying to get recruited, especially in an area like South Jersey where if you don't really stand out as a top prospect, you got to go and play in these travel ball showcases.
Right. Count as 1 and 2. And I'll just say it straight up. Pitchers are throwing too hard, and they're throwing too much. I honestly think that the pitch limit for pitchers in New Jersey should be 90 or 95. It shouldn't be 110 over a 6-day period because with how much these pitchers are throwing, it is going to be catastrophic for their arms. And now String hits this one out to second. Could be 2. They flip it to second for 1. Bit of a slow transition there, so it'll be a 4 to 6 fielder's choice. String gets to first. Tucci's retired, and that's the second out. But, people would say that 90 or 95 is too low, but, what the pitchers are throwing is too fast. And the goal of high school athletics should be providing an environment for players to play at the highest level, but also prioritizing safety. There's a reason why certain things have been banned in football, certain things have been banned in basketball. There's a reason why for a while jewelry was banned in New Jersey baseball. They've let it back on now, which I don't have a problem with, but safety was the reason why they had knocked it down in the first place. So if we're going to prioritize safety, it doesn't start at the state level. It starts at the development level, where we're teaching these kids that if you're not throwing 90 miles per hour, you're not going to make it anywhere. And he gets another strike there. I mean, Pokrovsky's an amazing pitcher, but I see so many kids now that are trying to throw as hard as they can that it is hurting them in the long run, especially if we don't give these kids realistic expectations about recruitment and their futures in baseball.
Well, and
because not everybody can make it.
Well, and it comes down to rest as well, and I think a lot of these guys, they get Tommy John surgery and they come back and they're throwing 5 miles an hour harder, and it's not the surgery, it's just simply because they've had a year off.
Yeah.
They haven't had to throw or do anything, and they've had so much time to recover and rest their arm. I think a lot of times, too, not as much at the high school level, but sometimes with club, it turns into guys throwing a little bit more on a regular basis than they should.
Oh, the travel baseball, too. It's out of this world. I mean, and the lawlessness we are seeing from the travel clubs are now spilling over into high school interscholastic sports. We were talking about Union City earlier. There was a game earlier this year between Elizabeth and Union City that when things got, rough, the umpires called the game. They just said, that's it, we're going home. Whatever the score is, it is. We're not umpiring this game anymore. And that'll be a swing and a miss. Pokrovsky picks up his 11th strikeout, but just to close the point, I think a lot of people get the message wrong about baseball, that it's not a game like football or basketball where you can be, this kind of punk that runs in trouble, and we see it so many times in travel baseball. There's a lot of problems over there. We go to the top of the 6th. Schalick picks up their 11th strikeout with Luke Pokrovsky on the hill. Valente back out for the Wolverines. We'll be right back. Lamazza leads us off for the Cougars in the top of the 6th inning. Valente fires a strike. It is 0-1. Here from the Elmer Little League. Again, I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Jake Clark and Ben Nicholas. Little student section out in left field for Schalick. As Lamazza hits this one into left, the student section completes the roll call with a base hit, his first of the day. And Matt Lamazza, the 8-hitter, sets it up for Eli Cummings, and a leadoff base hit.
Well, and with a game that gone out to a good start for Schalick, they haven't been able to get another run across since about the 2nd or 3rd inning. And now that leadoff hitter in Lamazza getting on, trying to start and get a little bit more insurance runs as we get deeper and deeper into this game here for the Elmer Cup.
With nobody on, Elijah Cummings, the batter. Schalick, one of the few high schools in South Jersey to not be named after a town, but instead a person. As there's a bunt, Valente throws the first. It's in time. Runner is out. Cummings gets Lamazza to second on the sacrifice bunt. And there's one away, but I can't really think outside of maybe Bishop Eustace or PVI named after a pope. But there's a lot more high schools named after people outside of South Jersey. But here, case is a little bit different. Mark DeCastro coming to talk to Valente. Not sure if he's going to take the ball out or not, but either way, Arthur P. Schalick, who was a lifetime Pittsgrove resident, was a very large help in developing the township. He was a 61-year veteran in politics. He was named the township assessor and registrar in 1919, and it was a post that he retained up until his death at age 89. He was also a welfare director and a treasurer for a long time in Pittsgrove, and was a Board of Ed member for 40 years, from 1940 to 1980. And during that time as a Board of Ed member, he supervised a financial plan during the mid-'70s that enabled the township to build its own high school, hence Arthur P. Schalick High School. So just an interesting story there. The only other high school that I could think of in South Jersey that's named after a person or was named after a person was Camden Eastside, formerly named Woodrow Wilson High School, and they renamed that a couple of years ago. But we do have a new pitcher for the Wolverines. It's Chase Harding moving from the DH spot to the mound. We'll take a quick break. 3-0 Cougars over the Wolverines. New pitcher, the third of the day. Actually, no, the fourth of the day for Woodstown. They've gone through pitchers pretty quickly. Holiday went 3 2/3, a short stint for the left-hander Dante Spina. Then they turned it over to Mike Valente. Now they've turned it over to Chase Harding, the 6'2" junior who comes into this contest with just 4 2/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts, a flat 3 ERA. Runner on second, 1 away for Schalick. Arthur P. Schalick High School as Pokrovsky swings and misses. It's 0-1.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking a little bit during the break, but you see a lot of schools. You mentioned Woodrow Wilson, named after somebody real big, like a former president. You don't see a whole lot of schools named after somebody local, and I think that that's really cool that it's named after somebody that had been in the town and done so much for the community for all those years that they decided to name the high school after him.
Like I've seen middle schools and elementary schools aplenty named after notable people, but high schools not as much. 0-2. Outside to Pokrovsky. He swung and missed at the first 2. Takes that fastball away. As the next hitter would be Ricky Watt. Pokrovsky struck out into a double play. A strike him out, throw him out double play. Started by Ty Koblenz in the 4th. This is his 4th at-bat of the day. Has an RBI single as a part of, well, it was Schalick's last run. Scored 2 runs in the 2nd, 1 in the 1st. An RBI double by Lucas DiAgostino. And then 2 runs in the 2nd. RBI single by Elijah Cummings. And immediately followed up by a Luke Pokrovsky RBI single. And I really thought that that was going to mean a runaway train for Schalick, but Woodstown has held them at bay and has kept this game scoreless since the top of the 2nd inning, as that one is way high.
And I think the big thing has been the defense for Woodstown. We saw a couple bloop singles, but the errors were really, really killer in the sense that they gave up a couple runs that, I mean, they were earned, but a couple of bad throws allowed for runners to advance and come across the plate. And since then, the Wolverine defense has been a lot better.
A big cheer from the Wolverine dugout as Pokrovsky strikes out swinging. It's the first K for the right-hander Harding. And now here is Ricky Watt.
And Pokrovsky, one of the better hitters in that Schalick lineup, goes down swinging with a runner in scoring position.
Hold on here. DeCastro is coming out. Just confirming something. He's going to go talk to Harding. He talked to the home plate umpire, and then he went up and now he's going to talk to Chase Harding. He has been very stringent on pitchers today, and now they're going to bring the infield in. But
I can't imagine what this is for here.
I mean, he's only faced, what, 2 batters? No, that was his first batter.
I believe so, yeah. He
because
warmed
he came
up.
in after Cummings.
The only thing that I don't know why the whole infield would need to be brought in, but if it looked like Harding was a little shaken up, but I didn't see that from up here in the press box.
No.
So I'm just a little confused as to what the mound visit is for. But now DeCastro comes out of the mound visit, and the infield is still there to talk. Home plate umpire doesn't look like he's going to break it up anytime soon.
That's so funny to me when umpires do that. They go out to the mound to try to break up a pitcher's meeting, but at the end of the day, they don't even do that. They just stand there. They don't even really say anything. They just stand right in the middle of the mound visit, like they're talking over weekend plans or their favorite Italian restaurant. But we've got Ricky Watt. He's reached base twice, a single, a strikeout, and hit by pitch most recently, but he is 1 for 2 on the line today. From the stretch, first pitch, big swing and a miss there. I like that transition to the stretch there for Harding.
And that fastball was blown right by Watt. An excellent pitch for strike number 1.
Watt hits it in the left center field. It's hit well, going back. It is into the student section and gone. Ricky Watt hits it right to his constituents in left center field. And Watt has left the building. Cougars with their first offensive explosion since the second. A 2-run home run at the hitter-friendly Elmer Little League. A big boom behind home plate. 5-0.
And it depends on where it landed, but the ball literally could have gone into the next town
It
over.
did.
A big swing of the bat there for Ricky Watt. He was late on the first pitch fastball, got the same pitch on the inside part of the plate, got it on time, extended his hands through the zone, and sent a deep drive out to left center field. And Schalick gets another couple runs up on the board. They lead 5-0 here over Woodstown.
They needed that. I don't think that it's the nail in the coffin by any means, because Woodstown could definitely have a good inning off of Pokrovsky. But here's the thing: I think that going forward, Woodstown, if Schalick was held scoreless in the 6th, I think that very well could have opened the door for Woodstown to make a comeback in the bottom of the 6th. Now that energy has been shifted right back into Schalick's hands, and it may be a little bit more difficult for Woodstown to get on the board. As this one's hit out towards first base, a little slow roller retires the side. A 2-run home run by Ricky Watt right out to his peers and his pals in left center field. The student section well represented for Schalick, and they got a souvenir that, well, they've got to give back. It's 5-0 going to the bottom of the 6th here in Elmer. Bottom of the 6th. Schalick leads it 5-0. With a 2-run home run out to left center field by Ricky Watt. Estimated distance on that long ball presented by Google Analytics is 336 feet. Second shortest home run hit this season. only topped by Diego Salazar, who hit his .334. As there's a strike called, it is 0-2.
When I think we were talking about it a little bit before the break, but momentum is something that doesn't pop up on the scoreboard, but plays such a big factor.
And that will make it 12. It's a dozen. Holmes goes down on strikes. He'll give a little communication to Bielecki, and Holmes has struck out for the third time today.
Well, Pokrovsky, 12 strikeouts. I think that says enough, but even with his back against the wall, in that bottom half of either the third or fourth inning with the bases loaded, he got out of a jam. And since then, that was Woodstown's best shot to get on the board. They had their best hitter in Rocco String up, but they still have that goose egg here and now only have a couple more outs to play with.
Indeed, they've got 5 on the scoreboard. Bielecki also without a barrel to his name today. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts, 1 swinging, 1 looking. There's a strike called.
And again, if
2 balls, 1 strike.
And again, if Pokrovsky just goes right at these hitters, he's going to potentially finish this game depending on the pitch count. I mean, the Woodstown lineup has struggled time and time again throughout this one to really get any hard contact against the fastball. Only a couple number of hits compared to 12 strikeouts.
And that's the only thing that we don't have on the scoreboard is the pitch count. That's the only thing that we don't know. We know how many runs for, we know how many runs against, but we don't know how many he's thrown. I mean, I have one at home, but with all the things that we do here, it's a little bit too much to, click one on the little thing there. But we do know that is a baker's dozen as Pokrovsky picks up his 13th strikeout. He's the first pitcher this year on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, and the first since 2023. Believe it was Jude Engstrom of Pittman who struck out 14 versus Gateway back on April 26th, 2023 in a 2-1 8-inning win in where he went 7 1/3, but he's got 13. Batavio is the batter. Time called at the plate. This would be a good way to cap off the 6th inning as a lefty-lefty matchup for Pokrovsky. Batavio has done a little bit off of him, as that's going to be a ground ball laced out towards short. Throw across the diamond is in time, inning over. Pokrovsky with a nice smile towards the Woodstown dugout as he has picked up 13 strikeouts. Last swings potentially for Schalick as they look to command this shutout still. He's done 6 scoreless. It's 5-0.
Launches one foul. See, Mostero's doing us a service here. Or excuse me, D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro is doing us a service here. He's letting us have this conversation by having a long at-bat. But a lot of people are still caught up in the D1 or bust mentality. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd. We'll talk about that later. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Clapping it up here for the Roadrunners. 2-2. Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! 3-run homer, D'Alessandro! And it's a 1-run game at the crack of the bat, 5-4. 3-run shot to center field. Trailing towards the right center, and the cleanup man does exactly what the position orders, cleaning up
And he does it incredibly well with a 5-4 game. He battles for 11 pitches and makes
Bit of an odd scene here in the top of the 7th inning. Walker Batavio comes in. He is the 5th pitcher to take the hill for Woodstown today. Jack Holliday was the first. He was followed up by Dante Spina. Then it was Mike Valente. Then it was, who was after him? That was Chase Harding. Now it's Walker Batavio. Now, he went down during his warm-ups and needed attention from the trainer. However, he sprung back up after a minute or so and is back on the mound as the freshman left-hander who started the last time we saw Woodstown versus Glassboro on April 16th. He's in the mound here on the 7th to face Schalick's 4, 5, and 6. DiAgostino, Whitley, and Hatz. They lead 5-0 with a 2-run home run to left center by Ricky Watt. Had a feeling we were going to see something leave the yard tonight with the hitter-friendly dimensions, but I'm honestly shocked it was only one. At least to this point. You don't know. You don't know what'll happen in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, I mean, you said it was the second shortest home run you've seen here on DWB, but that ball had a little bit of extra mustard on it as it left the yard. A good swing there from Watt.
That one's outside. Woodstown this season, they've been held at bay by Schalick. Right now in the season series, Schalick would go for the sweep. They'd go for 12-1 on the season. And by the way, remember, they would outscore their opponent 16-0. They won the first matchup 11-0, scoring 10 runs in the first inning and never looking back. Now they're up 5-0 in Game 2 of this series at the Elmer Little League. And it's interesting to see how this has really devolved. As 3-2 is a swing and a miss. Batavio picks up the strikeout to DiAgostino, and it's the first out. DiAgostino had the first run of the game on an RBI double, but has since struck out the next 3 at-bats. He's now 1 for 4. Here's Damari Whitley.
Well, and we were talking about interesting things to pick up on what you were just saying. So not only does the border between the two towns run through the outfield, and they all play Little League together here, and then they go to their separate high schools, but I think the thing that was most interesting to me is...
And as a ground ball out to second base, picked up, and a 4-3 ground out is in time. Second out.
But the most interesting thing to me, just to pick up on the thought there, is the fact that Schalick is technically the away team tonight, as Woodstown is the home team, and Schalick was home the last time these two met, but Schalick had their senior night tonight.
Correct.
And I can't think off the top of my head the last time I've seen an away team be honored on a senior night. But
I can't remember that either, yeah.
But, I mean, with all these guys playing Little League here, it definitely has to be cool for the players for Schalick to be honored, even if they are in the visitors' dugout.
Yeah, it's kind of like when we did a Pittman and Glassboro game a couple of years ago. Like, yeah, it's a friendly rivalry, but a lot of those players have played together in Little League, in club ball during the summer. they found a way to be, kind of communal together. And, they know good sportsmanship and everything like that. They may have a little bit of grudges on the field, but off the field, they're all good teammates. And even though these two go to different school districts, again, this has turned into a very friendly rivalry between these two and has resulted in some very good ball games at the very least, as Schalick is going to look to go up 8-5 in the all-time series of the Elmer Classic. That one's hit down the right field line, and instead it is caught to retire the side. Schalick's final swings of the day don't result in much, a strikeout and 2 groundouts. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, Woodstown needs some extra power in their bats to win this one, as Luke Pokrovsky, let's see here, he will not go for the complete game. A little surprised to see that, but Sean O'Brien with a comfortable lead going for the safe approach. Jamari Whitley is the pitcher as we go to the bottom of the 7th, 5-0 Cougars. Jamari Whitley, the sophomore, is the pitcher for Schalick, looking to close things out. But Luke Pokrovsky, 6 innings, 13 strikeouts, 3 hits, and 3 walks, right now in line for the win. As Whitley, the sophomore, first pitch. Whoa, look out. That one will run inside to Woodstown's number 7 man, Harding. If there's a silver lining here for Schalick, it's going to be 7, 8, and 9. For the for the Wolverines, Harding, Fulmer, and Tucci, but a 2-0 count here to start the bottom of the 7th.
And just a couple of numbers on Whitley entering this one: a 2.44 ERA and 14 1/3 innings pitched, 24 strikeouts in his sophomore season. Somebody that's a budding young star for the Schalick Cougars.
There's a strike called, 2-1. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's been very good for him this year, 2.44 ERA. It complements Pokrovsky very well. A good 1-2 punch here on this Tuesday evening. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The week ahead on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Again, Thursday. We're off tomorrow, and then we have Thursday, Haddon Heights at Audubon. Colonial Conference Baseball at 4 o'clock. Here's the 2-2. There's strike 3. 14 strikeouts on the team staff, and there's one away as Fulmer will be the batter. And again, Friday and Saturday will be the JUCO Region 19 Final Four in softball at RCSJ Gloucester. Games will have 4 on Friday, 10, 12, 2, and 4. My voice will be pretty exhausted by the end of that. And then 3 games on Saturday. Of course, Sunday is Mother's Day, but then let's go over the first half of next week as well. We'll be at Overbrook for a Tri-County matchup between Pittman and Overbrook on Monday, May 12th. Then we've got on Thursday a good Olympic BCSL matchup at Rutgers Camden, Lenape versus Cinnaminson at 5 p.m. Not a night game, not a day game, more of an evening game. And then more BCSL versus Colonial Valley. Heightstown versus Burlington Township at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, May 14th. That's a ground ball down the third base line. It's speared at third. Throw across to Diamond is in time. 5-3 ground out, and we're down to our last swing here at Elmer, as Woodstown, despite being the home team, they won the last 2 contests in the Elmer Classic. Schalick looking for their first win in a little while, and they're looking to regain control of the famed Elmer Cup with a 5-0 lead. Schalick again would go to 12-1 in the regular season with a win, and they would improve to 8-5 in the all-time Elmer Classic Series. Stay tuned for the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting post-game show with our interview presented by the DAWG Pro Wrestling Organization. That one is down. Schalick would go to a perfect 7-0 in the Tri-County Diamond. They have a road game versus Salem on the 8th. Pennsgrove on the 8th, home to Salem on the 9th, and away to Bridgeton on Monday the 12th. So 3 pretty good opportunities there for Schalick to pick up some wins if they can, as it's 2-1. For Woodstown, they would fall to 10-5 with a loss. It would snap their 5-game winning streak, as Woodstown will have back-to-back road games on the docket with Penn Tech on Wednesday, Overbrook on Thursday. Then they'll be back home versus Cherry Hill East on May 10th, Saturday. I believe that's in the Lee Ware tournament, if I am correct. Tucci, 2 walks today. He's technically 0 for 0 in the box score as he grounds this one up the third base line. It's foul, and it's 3-2. Jamari Whitley looking to finish what Luke Pokrovsky started. 6 innings, 13 strikeouts. Whitley picked up one of his own, looking to start off this inning. As the number 9 hitter, Woodstown, Tommy Tucci could be the last swing of the night here at Elmer Little League. The 3-2. Curveball misses high, and the game stays alive for another batter. And more importantly for Woodstown, it turns the lineup card back over to Caden Spinelli at the top half.
Well, Tucci's had a pretty good eye up at the plate. Now I believe his 3rd walk of the day, just getting on base. And again, Woodstown hasn't had a run come across, but Tucci trying to do his part, getting on with a couple walks.
Trying to get a little 11th hour miracle going as it's a swing and a miss by Spinelli. 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a single to his name today. I think the big goal here for DeCastro is get the power hitter string up, get 1 hit off of Whitley, get 2 runners on, and make it a pretty uncomfortable situation to bring up string. But Whitley is 1 strike away from making that dream squashed. No balls, 2 strikes. The Schalick student section in left center field just beneath the scoreboard offering their support as Whitley dekes over to first with Spinelli, the left fielder. The 0-2, no. Stepped off. And again, Whitley probably should have thrown that ball down the home plate, but he ended up kind of stumbling in the middle of his motion.
Now it looks like
umpires
home
having an
umpire
argument with
dealing with a fan. Yeah.
I haven't seen an umpire interact with a fan in a while.
Well,
but
it's the last potential strike of the game. I mean, it's an
Yeah.
0-2 count. I don't know
Getting an
why
early
wait
start.
for this long.
0-2. That one's down. I mean, it could have been he didn't say anything all night, and now he's, listen, some umpires have a very short leash with fans. And I like that because fans have to be kept accountable, I don't like fans that run their mouth and expect no consequences, that think that they're above the law just because they're behind the fence.
Well, and the worst thing in the world, too, is when a fan starts to try and make the game about themselves.
Oh, yeah, or about their kid. It's 1-2. I like that response, though. Who says I can't? Who says I can't? I like that. It's 1-2 to Spinelli, who again has picked up 2 strikeouts today. He singled in the 3rd. It was an infield single that is recorded as Woodstown's first hit of the day, first of 3. Whitley looking to finish the job. The 1-2 down. 2-2 here. And again, the goal for Woodstown is the game plan is to get Rocco String up, or at least Ty Koblenz. If you can't get String, 2-2 count here with a runner on would be nice for Woodstown to get a run. but they're one strike away from that. It's a swing and a miss. They'll throw it down to first. It is not in time, and the Schalick Cougars, in a season series sweep, shut out the Woodstown Wolverines, and in a tough finish, a 15 strikeout effort by two pitchers, Luke Pokrovsky and Jamari Whitley, send the Cougars to an impressive 12-1 record. They win it 5-0. A beautiful game from start to finish, but Schalick was in the driver's seat. They got one run in the first, two in the second, and the only other offense after that was a two-run home run by Ricky Watt. But man, what a game for Luke Pokrovsky. I don't care that he's done that a million times before. He struck out. That's the fourth game this year that he struck out 10-plus batters. It's another day at the office for him, but seeing Pokrovsky pitch, what an amazing day for him.
Yeah, absolutely. 13 strikeouts out on the bump through 6 innings of work. Just an excellent job. And on the other side of things, for Woodstown, definitely tough to win a game when you have 15 strikeouts. You only get 21 outs to play with. So 15 going down by the punch-out, not even putting the ball in play, and that shows why they had that 0 on the scoreboard. But Schalick had a little bit of offense in this one, a great pitching performance there from Luke Pokrovsky, and then Whitley came in to close the door on Woodstown. A total team effort for the Schalick Cougars as they move to 12-1 on the year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when we talk about, what Schalick has accomplished this year, they made it in the Diamond Classic. They lost in the first round. That's been their only blemish this year. They've done it very well, but Woodstown is one of those teams that sometimes when a rivalry is in place, the entire ethos of team history and team records can kind of be turned on its head. But Schalick didn't let that deny them. They won 11-0 in Game 1 of this series. Now they win 5-0. A dominant performance by Luke Pokrovsky, and now an opportunity to go home. And Schalick will have a good opportunity versus Penn Tech on Wednesday, as they've got some very good matchups coming up in the Tri-County Diamond. But they improved to 7-0 on the division in this season, as the Elmer Cup is ready to be presented to the winners, the Schalick Cougars. We'll stay on the air for the trophy presentation. We'll bring our mics to the field, and then we will have none other than Luke Pokrovsky in the booth for our Dan Wilkins Broadcasting post-game interview of today's game.
Presentation of the Elmer Classic trophy to our winning Schalick Cougars. Just a moment. Good job, guys. I know it's Sean O'Brien. That's all I know. Ladies and gentlemen, our winning Schalick Cougars. Tonight's presentation of the trophy is by our league president, Tom Ainsley, to head coach Sean O'Brien. Congratulations, coach. Congratulations, Cougars. Hold it high.
So again, Schalick wins this one 5-0. We'll be back as Luke Pokrovsky and Dan Wilkins will have the post-game show here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. I'm Jay Clark. I'll be signing off tonight. But stick around for the post-game show with Dan Wilkins and the star of tonight, Luke Pokrovsky, with 13 strikeouts on the mound. We'll be right back here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting.
DAWG Pro Wrestling Player of the Game post-game interview. Here we go. Luke Pokrovsky, Penn commit, left-hander. This was a huge day for you. For most, it would be a big day, but for you, it's just another day at the office. 6 innings, 13 Ks, 3 hits in a 5-0 win here in Elmer. Luke, how'd you feel there today?
Felt really good. My all-speed was working really good, but I always know to come with the fastball, doing I throw really hard for my size.
Yeah, and I mean, it was so interesting watching out there today. You had a call in the third, I think it was, that didn't go your way. You weren't happy about it, and then once you come back, you got 3 straight fastballs, and a couple of them were for strikes. Seems like you threw a little bit harder that way, but you really worked through adversity in the best way possible. Bases loaded in third, got a big fly out, and of course 13 strikeouts on the day. For you this year, recently surpassed a 300 strikeout mark. Most pitchers in South Jersey don't get to pass 100 in their career, and this is a big event as well in Salem County. You've played in a couple of these over the years. A big moment, a big day, and a big event. What does everything about this night game and this environment mean to you, especially going into such an important season for you?
Well, beginning of the season, we have a goal, and it was to beat Woodstown and sweep Woodstown. And under the lights, it's even better. We all come together as a team. Even though our IO didn't look the best, our IO never looks the best. But we always stayed up, tried to cheer each other on, pick each other up, even after an error. But yeah.
And this is a game that's been heavily anticipated. A lot of media here today and a lot of people that have been looking forward to this game between two Salem County powerhouses. When you threw off that mound today, was there an impression that it felt like this was going to be a good day from the get-go, or was it just as you settled in, you found a way to get better inning by inning or batter by batter?
I felt like I was getting better by the batter, and knowing that I faced all these guys in the past years, knowing how they can hit and where they can't hit, I tried to locate my pitches better and stick to my fastball and try to overcome them.
And it worked very well. One last question for you, Luke. You're headed to Penn in 2026 after your graduation this year, and left-handers come at a dime, not a dime a dozen, but their worth is in gold. I mean, a lot of lefties, a lot of schools clamor for left-handed pitching. And, of course, your brother Jarrett is also at Penn. What does it mean to you to attend such a prestigious program at a prestigious school and also have some family that has been there or is there and will be able to help you along the way?
Being able to spend the time with my brother, especially at Penn, he's the one that's been pushing me the most to keep going, keep staying in the weight room, and keep pushing myself to throw harder on the mound and locate my pitches and become better. And it's just special to play with him, knowing that he's going to be there next year. It just makes me like a better person, feeling better and more confident in being able to play there.
And at least you'll have somebody to share some time with next year from the family. Luke, thank you very much. We're going to close out this interview with our little DWB tradition. We're going to have you sign the scorecard. You'll be doing some of these over in Philadelphia, but for now we'll have you sign the bottom. Just make it nice and big there, as we do for all of our DWB games. Luke Pokrovsky, your player of the game, presented by DAWG Pro Wrestling. It is 6 scoreless innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 13 strikeouts for the Penn commit, the left-hander. Luke, thank you very much. Go celebrate with your teammates. That'll be all for us tonight here at Elmer. What a night it was. The game didn't exactly end up being as star-studded as we thought, but ended up being a 5-0 game nonetheless. 2 runs for Schalick in the second, and of course it was padded by a 2-run home run by Ricky Watt in the top half of the 6th inning. But also just want to give a big thanks to Jonathan Cummings and Anthony D'Agostino of the Schalick Booster Club for helping us be here today and providing what we needed to get a great broadcast off. We had a great time with Jay Clark and Ben Nicholas behind me. This is going to be a fun week for us. Like we said, on Thursday we've got Haddon Heights and Audubon and Colonial action. Jake, as you re-enter the frame, any closing thoughts on tonight?
Well, I mean, it was a huge win for Schalick in a game that means so much, this crosstown rivalry that literally happens in the outfield. I think that that's something that is super, super cool. But Schalick comes out, wins this one. They move to 12-1, and they're going to be a threat come postseason time as we get deeper and deeper into the season.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Schalick's 12-1. Their one loss was a Diamond Classic loss to Haddonfield. Doesn't get any easier for any of these teams going forward, but both of these teams have really good schedules coming up, and both of these teams should be in the win column pretty soon, regardless of whether they won or lost tonight. So that'll be all for us tonight here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Again, big thanks to Mr. Cummings and Mr. D'Agostino for having us. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane and Carson Rosso, my producer and color commentator, Jake Clark, the giant tall man behind me. No, he is not an imposter. No, he is not an intruder. It is the 6'4" Temple commit, Ben Nicholas, the camera operator for tonight's game. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on Thursday at Audubon. Have a good one, folks.